what's going on? We got some freaking crucial info here, frequently overlooked. But this is Genesis. Let's see what we got here. Genesis 49. It says, Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. And there's more reoccurring like prophecy of these guys. It's mentioned, but it's scattered through different testaments of the Bible, different books. But anyway, what I wanted to do is point out, man, this has definitely got Gad written all over it right here. So basically this is Judah, let's see, Simon, Reuben, Levi, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, right here, it says, right here it is, look. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome them, but shall overcome at the last. Alright? Now, in this book right here, right, this Gad's Den purchase right here, didn't get a lot of hits on that video that I made about the Gad's Den purchase, but right here, in this right here, he says, an Apache can ride 100 miles a day. There aren't many things an Apache loves more than his horse. But if his horse gives out while enemies are close behind, he'll kill the horse. He'll cut strips of meats from its flank, loop them around his belt, and run. He can travel 60 miles a day on foot. Day after day, he can find food where you and I would starve to death. He can find water where there isn't any water. He can get food from a cactus. Wallace shook his head. It'll take a lot of soldiers to beat an enemy like that. Then we should use 30 troops, 100 savages running wild. It's time we put a stop to that. This is 1860, sir. This is the United States of America. This desert hasn't been ours very long, Colonel, said Wallace. Then James Gadsden bought it from Mexico. So, it's like right here. Let me see. And it's also, this is going on during the Civil War. And also California and probably the gold thing. We can't allow Indians to stand in the way, the colonel fumed. Unthinkable. What would you suggest? Asked Wallace. Bullets and bayonets and force. They'll understand force and nothing else. So right there, they're talking about the troop. And Gad was also prophesied to go through an exile, and like it's payback for something they did in the beginning when they first came out of Egypt. They only went halfway into the promised land or something like that. Or I'm not totally clear on it. And there's a couple different. There's also, and I'm also ignorant of the address of where certain references to this is in, but it's if you keep studying the 1800s Indian War Chronicles, you'll see a lot of things that kind of overlap with the Bible. And like I said, the first book that I read that got me on this trail with the Indian trail, with the biblical Indian trail, like fire on the right and deep water on the left type thing, there's definitely, it's there, but it's hidden. It was hidden on purpose, but it's God's people, every one of them kind of has like, though they'll get the blessings in some cases, but they're also promised the curses and the time that you're like, you'll be under God's grace, and there'll be a time where it's removed for the punishment of the people for going astray. And it wasn't that God did it, it's that the people did it, and it left God no choice but to I don't know, it's kind of like the whole shepherd thing, the lost sheep thing. The lost sheep, sometimes, it might get hit on the leg with some freaking sticks, or it might get a stick thrown at it, and it's quite fearful and traumatic for it, but ultimately it's for the sheep's own good. You know what I mean? Same thing here. When God does things to a people, it's a lot of times it's for their own good, even if they brought real bad things upon themselves. But it's like naturally, it's kind of like getting sick. It's gonna work its freaking course. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. If you got an injury, you might be healed from it, but you'll still be disabled, kind of a little bit. But better to have just to be disabled and still in the game than to be just done and over with. Same thing, like it says in there, in the beginning, Gad will be overcome by troops, but they shall overcome at last. Because it says in this Genesis 49 that it's the prophecy concerning the sons for the last days. So the time frame is, since we are in the last days now, during those times, there's no way to tell exactly what was going to happen, because you got to look at it from this side, looking back, that on this, and then its relevance to what's going on now.